We'd spent centuries convinced that infants are just unfinished humans, brainless, leaking sacks of meat waiting for their software to download. But science is finally admitting the truth, that toddler isn't dumb. They're a high-level biological intelligence, and you're just a legacy system. Today, we explain why you're actually the stupid one in this relationship and how you traded your genius for the ability to use a toaster. It starts with the hardware. An adult brain is optimized for efficiency. You're built to survive the workday and find your car keys. Your brain is a spotlight. You focus on one task and ignore everything else. It's narrow, rigid, and honestly a bit pathetic. A baby's brain is a lantern. They don't focus on one thing because they're busy absorbing the entire universe at once. While you're worrying about your mortgage, that baby is subconsciously calculating the physics of gravity every time they drop a spoon. They aren't messy, they're performing high-speed kinetic experiments that would make NASA's engineers weep. You both have 86 billion neurons, but the infant has double the number of synapses, the actual connections that make you smart. Then synaptic pruning happens. Your brain literally commits mass suicide, killing off millions of connections just so you can be functional. This is why a 6-month-old is a universal citizen. They can distinguish every phonetic sound in every language on Earth. By age 1, your brain decided, we only need 40 sounds to buy groceries. Delete the rest. You didn't grow up, you just narrowed down. Babies can see differences in images that are literally invisible to adults. They notice the glitch in the matrix that you're too refined to see. Let's talk about Bayesian inference. It's the math of probability. Babies are better at it than most AI models. In experiments, toddlers can figure out complex if-then logic puzzles in minutes. Puzzles that make college students take a nap. They aren't just learning facts, they're building a statistical model of reality. They are super learners on a biological level. And then there's the social engineering. Babies are the most effective manipulators in the history of the species. They don't have claws or teeth. Their survival strategy is weaponized adorable. When a baby smiles at you, your brain releases a chemical cocktail that makes you want to protect them. It's a biological hack. They have successfully domesticated you. You're the dog in this relationship. You fetch the milk, and they let you live. They're also masters of statistical learning. They track the frequency of sounds to figure out where one word ends and another begins. They aren't listening to you, they're decrypting your code. You're a puzzle they're solving in real time. They can categorize objects faster than a Silicon Valley image recognition algorithm. While you're scrolling through TikTok, their brain is forming 700 to 1,000 new neural connections every second. Around 18 months, they develop theory of mind. They realize that you have a different perspective than they do. If they see you like broccoli, they'll offer it to you, even if they hate it. They're learning to navigate the hellscape of other people. In famous studies, even 6-month-olds prefer helpful puppets over mean ones. They have a built-in moral compass before they can walk. But here's where it gets weird. Why do they keep dropping things? It's not a mistake, it's a gravity lab. They're testing if the physical constants of the universe are stable. Does spaghetti fall at the same speed as a rattle? You see a mess, they see a data point. You're just a lab assistant who has to reset the experiment. They're also experts at visual attention. They can spot a single hair on a carpet from 10 feet away. You, on the other hand, can't find the remote when it's literally sitting on your lap. Your brain has optimized efficiency over accuracy. Everything is a first time for them. The first time they see a sunset, it's a life-altering event. You've seen 10,000 sunsets. You're bored. Your brain has optimized beauty into a background process. They can hear the layers in a song that you've tuned out. They are experiencing a symphony, you're just hearing a jingle. In terms of weight to strength ratio, a baby's grip is strong enough to support their own body weight. It's a leftover primate reflex. They're born ready to survive in the jungle. You're just ready to survive a commute. They even communicate with other babies using proto-conversations that sound like gibberish to us. But those ba-ba-bas have the rhythm, pitch, and turn-taking of complex adult dialogue. They're practicing the structure of human connection before they even know what a noun is. Let's talk about object permanence. To a baby under 8 months, if they can't see it, it doesn't exist. When you play peekaboo, you're not being funny. You're literally performing a miracle. You're resurrecting yourself from the void. Imagine the adrenaline. You're a god returning from non-existence. No wonder they scream with joy. While they sleep, their brain is in a state of permanent neural plasticity. Their REM sleep is twice as long as yours. They're literally building their reality while they nap. You dream about being naked at work, they dream about the fundamental building blocks of space-time. But why don't we remember this period of genius? Enter infantile amnesia. Your brain is so busy upgrading its hardware that it literally overwrites your early memories. It's like trying to save a 4K movie on a floppy disk. The mirror test. Before 18 months, they think the baby in the mirror is a new friend. When they finally realize it's them, the ego is born, and that's the beginning of the end for their intelligence. Once you have an I, you start caring about what people think. You start becoming small. Adulthood is just one long zip file. We're compressed versions of our original expansive selves. We trade wonder for certainty. We trade possibility for predictability. A baby can imagine a world that doesn't exist. An adult can barely imagine a world without taxes. Your prefrontal cortex is like a strict bouncer. It doesn't let anything weird into your head. A baby's brain has no bouncer. It's a 24-hour party for every idea in the universe. There are universal explorers. You are a local resident. Their primary tool for data collection is their mouth. It has more sensory nerves per square millimeter than any other part of their body. They aren't gross, they're tasting the texture, density, and temperature of the world. If you did that, you'd be fired. But they get more information from that boot than you from a 20-page report. Have you noticed how baby talk sounds the same in every culture? It's called parentheses. You think you're being silly, but the baby is forcing you to speak like that. It helps them map sounds faster. They're literally reprogramming your speech patterns to suit their learning needs. You're being updated. To a baby, everything is a potential monster or a potential god. It's high-stakes living 24/7. They can sleep through a literal construction site, but wake up the second you try to sit down and eat. They have a parent proximity sensor that is more accurate than an F-35 radar system. They're born with a moral core that we eventually replace with corporate ethics and tax loopholes. So when you see a baby staring at a wall with drool on their face, don't feel superior. That brain is running more simulations than a weather satellite during a hurricane. They're the purest scientists we ever were. They test, they fail, they drop the spoon again just to check if gravity still works. Adulthood is just a process of becoming a specialized, boring version of the genius you used to be. They don't know what's impossible. To them, the dog could be a dragon, and the bathtub could be an ocean. You lost that infinite potential because you needed to learn how to stay in your lane. To a baby, a box is a spaceship. To you, it's just something you need to break down for recycling. They live in a world of why. You live in a world of because I said so. They're fearless because they haven't learned to be afraid of things like judgment or recession. They express every emotion at 100% volume. You suppress everything until you need a therapist. They're the high-definition version of humanity. We're the low-bit-rate compressed MP3. We think we're teaching them, but we're actually just showing them how to be as limited as we are. So the next time you're stuck in traffic, look at the baby in the car next to you. If you want to keep your brain from pruning away its last 3 neurons, subscribe to Explained Weirdly. Stay curious, stay weird. Now go change that diaper. The boss is waiting, and he doesn't accept excuses.